Yes, it did, mate, yeah. All good. What's the giant strawberries today? Give the hint what it's all about.
Good afternoon.
Yes, Green Wellies, exactly. We're ringing up about all the fantastic things we're doing.
Thank you very much. Lovely to have you here. It's a real pleasure to actually have you here. So we have the young farmers already sat down and talking. So
Good. Got them warmed up.
oh yes, they're very warmed up. I'm sure you're going to warm them up even more. So, and they're not too backward in coming forward. So
good.
Come on ahead. Let's come in.
Yeah. That's from my waistline. Gingerbreads.
So yeah, we've got some members of the local Young Farmers Club. So we have the national chair of the Scottish Association of Young Farmers Clubs, and we're basically having this round table to talk about the issue of rural isolation and tackling loneliness. And I know that's something that you're really interested in. Can you tell us why you're interested in these issues?
So, some of you may know, some of you not. Mental health is a particular thing I care about. Young male mental health particularly, although not exclusively. And I love the countryside and I love farming as well, and conscious that it's an area that needs a little bit of maybe support in understanding that there's access and support out there for young farmers and all farmers, any age farmers, as well as making sure that we are breaking down any taboos and stigmas around mental health. Because I think in the farming world it's maybe not talked about as much as in other sectors, and yet we know it exists. Isolation and mental health is all there. And so particularly wanted to hear a little bit today about how all of you felt and fared, and hear it from the horse's mouth really, as to whether we're getting better at talking about it, whether you feel the support is out there, what your recollections and feelings are around rural isolation, mental health, things like that.
Well, actually, Ali, who is the national chair, could talk a little bit around your Respect campaign.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, initially we launched an Are You OK campaign, which was raising awareness for mental health within agriculture, specifically young farmers, and giving our members the tools and how they can find support if they need it. And then we've done a lot of work since then, put different policies in place, different support networks. So earlier this year we launched our Respect campaign. We actually launched it at the Highland Show, and we've worked closely with, we've worked with Farm Safety Foundation for a few years now, and also worked with other charities such as RSADI. It's been a good support for us. So we've now got a sort of training package that we can give our members, which includes mental health first aid, so that within young farmers we can recognise signs if someone is struggling, and how we can support them and signpost them. From that we've kind of progressed the campaign a wee bit. So now every club in Scotland, all 70 clubs, will have a designated Respect ambassador within the club, and they're a point of contact for their members to go to. They're not there to be a therapist, or but they're there to signpost members into where they can get support.
Because the bit I find hard to understand and get to is, because farming is generally quite isolated, is who's going to see and know whether anyone needs support or needs help. If you're not willing maybe to identify yourself, you haven't seen it, or maybe you're reluctant, who around you is going to pick up and say, we need to support you, because you are quite isolated in times when how you work and what happens, unless there's family members around you who maybe see you. Some farmers don't have such big family networks. How do we reach those people who may be a bit more isolated and don't pick up on the signs maybe that they need a bit of support?
Yeah, actually, the guys were talking just before you arrived about the importance of connectivity and staying connected using social media. Do you want to share a bit more about that? Lois, you were talking about that.
Yeah, so the using social media, you can just chat to people, you can see what other people are doing. So just if you've had a bad day, if they're sharing maybe what's happened with them, you're able to see that it's not just you. It's also a brilliant learning opportunity. So maybe you've got an issue that you're not sure how to solve, and you can look on social media and see, oh well, they've tried this, maybe we could try that, and it just opens up more for you to be able to reach out to people as well. We've got a lot of agri influencers, is that the right word?
We can start new words all the time. We'll go with agri-influence, that sounds good.
And a lot of them are very forthcoming about, oh well, this is what I've been going through, like, and they're good at sharing points of contact for you to go to, and it's easier if you're just on your phone and you click these links, but you're automatically there anyway. It's not like you have to go and search them up, like it's all there for you.
But the older generations maybe don't
Yeah, no, they're
spend much
not
time
as
on social media.
no, although they are getting a lot better. My
Right.
dad just hates technology, but he started getting into podcasts. So it's just something new for everyone, really.
And podcast is one of the things that we talked
Yeah.
about actually that keeps you and helps that when you were feeling lonely, because you may be in the cab, the tractor for a long time, you know, and how actually that would, you've got another voice
Yeah.
almost with you when you're there, and it's quite an intimate way for people to get that information. Isn't it? You said you listened a lot.
I think I just got sick of listening to the same 4 or 5 songs on the radio every day. So started listening to podcasts, and quite a few farming ones, but also I quite like listening to a few different sport ones. It's kind of a chance to switch off and stop thinking about farming for a wee while.
Yeah. And what were you picking up from the podcast? What was helping you from a farming point of view when you were listening to?
Oh, just different things. You know, there's various different farming podcasts now, and it can be someone that's been successful in business, or quite often they've got a wee tip on how to deal with a situation, or just, yeah, there's always something that you pick up that's useful.
Because I'm conscious there's a lot of change for you, the farmers now, and you're being asked to do an awful lot, and there's a lot of change coming.
Yeah.
So how does that feel? Is that exciting for some of you? Is that a bit daunting? Is that?
Well, we were speaking earlier, we're all optimistic. We have to be optimistic in this industry. It is daunting, but I think if we rally together, which we are doing, across the generations, we're rallying together, and we'll get through it, we will get through it, and we'll be better for it on the other side. And if we want to change, we're going to do the change, I think.
And do you feel the information and support is out there for you to be able to help you, understand what that pathway might look like?
It's out there. Accessing it is maybe slightly different. Who do you speak to about that? Who's actually qualified to help you in this area? Who's qualified to help you there? And that's maybe a bit more vague at the minute. It's everything that has come in the last few months has come very quickly, and we're all still trying to find our feet, I think. And it's maybe just who to speak. But then that's where things, even at our age, just associations like Young Farmers, you can speak to each other like, right, well, like, where do I go? Do you know where to go? Or where did your dad go when he had this issue? And things like that. And it is out there, just finding it, I think, is a bit difficult for them.
And it's one of the things that came out from this morning was actually how important an organisation, a rural organisation like Young Farmers is in making those connections from, what age were you, Robbie, when you started?
Young Farmers,
Uh-huh.
it's 15, I got dragged along.
Supportively.
Supportively.
And actually you're still a member of your original, and Alistair doesn't live at home now, so...
Well, I'm originally from Caithness. My dad and uncle are farm managers at Castlemaine.
That's amazing.
So then they're third generation farm managers, so I split my time between home and here. Got the opportunity to move down here 4 years ago now. Didn't know anyone when I moved down, so that was quite a daunting experience. But it's very easy to get into a kind of rut that you're always working because you don't know people, and you don't get to know people because you're always working. So getting to join you Young Farmers was the way I found to break out of that cycle. And without it, I would have probably been in a lonelier place than I am now. And now, after 4 years here, it's starting to feel like home. Just because all the connections I've made through Young Farmers being the backbone of that.
Yeah.
I think when it comes to isolation, we all will face isolation in the industry. It's being able to know your pals and know when they're just busy working and when they actually need a message to be like, are you okay? What are you doing today? What's going on? And like at a fight, sometimes you don't know you need that message, but being able to have that support network of friends, not even anyone trained professionally, just friends that can turn around and be like, I've not seen Rose for a while. You alright? Or why is Alistair not been at any of those meetings recently? You normally would like to come to that kind of meeting. And I think having sort of a network like Young Farmers, everybody knows what everybody else is going through, and everybody knows like it's busy this time of year. They weren't at last week's meeting, they haven't been to that committee meeting. I'll just give them a quick ring.
I think it's important to kind of make sure people are aware of whatever problem you're facing. There's always somebody else in the same boat, because it's easy to go through dark times and they kind of get things building up on you because you think it's only you that's facing this problem, but then you actually speak to somebody about it and you realise it's a common problem everybody's having, and it's something you can kind of combat together then.
I think it's what you're saying, it's always the same, a problem is shared as a problem halved, and it's not until you actually share it, you're like, you seem to just feel the weight coming off your shoulders, and you're like, well, if somebody else is bearing it with me, it's not just me that's going through it.
And what sort of things are you guys worrying about? Because obviously I'm conscious of the young farmers part of this, whereas the older generations would probably say something different. What would you say now you're concerned about?
Well, we work quite closely with NFU Scotland, work quite closely with their Next Generation Committee, and we can sort of get a survey of our members to see what their concerns are within the industry. And the main things that we find our members are concerned about within agriculture, or how they can get a start within agriculture if they're not already working. Access to land and access to finance are the two biggest issues. And finance being long-term finance, it's quite easy to get short-term lets or short-term land rent, but actually having investment and access to land for a long period of time so you can plan going forward. And I think that's what we found from, certainly the Scottish budget. We only know what it's going to be for the next year. So how could we make business decisions and plan for the future when we don't know what it'll look like?
A year's nothing in farming.
No.
Like 1 crop of wheat, 1 crop of lambs, 1 crop of calves. Like you need to be able to say 5-10 years in time, that's when you're going to start seeing things. So when you don't know what powers higher up are going to plan for the next 5-10 years, how can we plan to, do we keep growing wheat or do we diversify into something else? Like how can we plan that when there's nothing? That is the worry. Like we can all jump in a tractor or jump into a cattle shed and do the day-to-day tasks, but we don't know what to do for the future. We don't know where we're going.
So a bit of certainty, a bit of
certainty to say like, okay, we are going to support you X amount for like X time of years, but like we don't know what's happening, so we can't. It's hard to plan, which is all farming is planning.
Like most companies are like producing something that they have an end product that year, where like livestock wise, if you're rearing cows, you're changing something now to see your product change in 3 years time, the end product, not just like that year. So when you're doing changes, you're hoping that they're still going to want the same thing in 3 years time, but then you don't know that, you're just taking that gamble.
Yeah.
It's a new place, it's doing great and everyone benefiting how it should be, but then it crashes again.
Is it? I was just yeah. I can get everyone to step on over to the right here.
Both over there?
For a group photo, if that's all right. And we will tell you exactly
Staring at the sunshine out here.
kind of gather round. Some on the right hand side of the road. Lovely.
That's it. I'll just jump next to you.
Can we just bring you in a little bit so it's not so wide? That's it. That's it.
Come here.
That's it.
See what you see.
Just come across for me. That's it.
Your friend.
And then if you come across.
Come on then.
That's it. Let's have a look. That's perfect. Here we go. Straight towards me. That's brilliant. Thank you. Thanks very much.
Great, thanks
Brilliant,
everyone.
thank you.
Right, Amelia, if we go to the far end now.
James,
Good afternoon. Nice to see you. Yeah, no, yeah, thanks for
Not at all, that's your strawberry bowl.
yeah, well,
Wrong time of year,
time
I know,
yeah.
sorry.
Maybe you can come back in the
And did you just get one with the family?
Yeah. So is he? Oh, okay. My mother was. All part of the school. I'm not bossing about it.
Yeah, right. Okay, it wasn't a great shot anyway.
This would be nice for stuff.
The owners are going to walk them along, aren't they?
Yeah. Jim and Kate. I don't think his parents.
But we basically, in a way, it's good that you're actually going to see a bit of damage. Yeah, we had that. We had a lot.
Okay, guys, to the field.
And they just eat it for well, I'd say we're
Sorry.
come this way.
I did check that.
So this is a variety. We only grow Magnum, which is our own variety, and it's. So where am I meant to go?
just here, just here. That's
Here,
fine.
this one.
Well, it was this
This
one we were
one.
going to show you.
Yeah, it looks like a right mess now, but anyway.
This is,
Yeah,
but this
so-
is all the damage.
Yeah. So basically,
All the,
this looks
these
very
are all
good.
perfect.
Yeah.
All
But if you clear that. So those are sort of young plants coming. And we keep these covered and push them on. We'll start picking them at the beginning of May. Yeah, and we'll go right through to October with the same variety, just by manipulating growing seasons, keeping some in the freezer. If we had time, I'd show you them packing our own plants and putting them in a freezer now, but so we can control this variety to produce for that whole length of time. Whereas Brad, who just met, is, you know, back in the day he would be cooking for 4 weeks and then we'd go off on holiday to Scryne.
The interesting thing is when we talked about innovation and ideas, actually James has brought in a brand new.
Yeah, well we've got, I mean there's a few things with it, but basically I think if you look at soft fruit growing, particularly in agriculture, it's very, very high tech now. So this is where all the feed and water comes from. There's little holes in there all the way up.
And it's obviously being raised off the ground, means you just have to control
it means we can control it, the quality's better.
And you're not ready to be done.
That's actually coir from Sri Lanka, so we're not using any feed. yeah, that's
And why is this soil so good for strawberries?
it's just a good balance of air and water. The particles hold it very well. And we give it
Do you want
everything.
quite a moist soil or not?
It needs to be not too moist. So that
Almost perfect.
Yeah, it just kind of balances it. But yeah, so and then the other thing we're doing a lot of is we put a lot of predators in. So native vegetables, they love this variety because they know what the big variety.
Yeah, I'm trying to get his hand.
Are they the little micro ones?
Yeah, the tiny little.
Heard of them? Yeah, I've heard of them. Yeah. People put them down in their attics and things like that, give them moths.
Yes, yes, that's what I was reading.
Yeah. So we do that.
So you put them into blocks?
Yeah, well, when they're coloured,
Yeah.
they can't handle it when it's like
No,
that.
they fly around.
Yeah, but they kind of fly around and they parasitise the aphids. We put through the drip line. We put tiny nematodes that control vine weevil, and we do use biopesticides as well. So we've done a lot of technology to make it better. I guess the biggest challenge is labour, but we can't really do anything.
Because everything's hand-picked, is it?
Everything has to be hand-picked. Yeah. So
there's no ways of getting around that.
That's what we always think about.
We've tried robots, but we haven't had any success.
It's so
They're
difficult.
very slow.
Remember one of your friends said, have you tried monkeys?
They'd eat the whole lot, probably.
Yeah. So yeah, there's a lot of technology thing going on, but we can't really use it to fix that problem.
And how would you repair all this then?
There's no guide.
Obviously quite sturdy, yeah.
They're dormant just now, so
Yeah.
we'll get them back in, and that's fine. But basically, we're just taking it all out by hand. I spent the last 2 days filling up these containers with polythene that came off. We've had to cut the polythene, drag it out.
Do you get many storms like that up here, or is that
Not
a rare
often.
one?
No, but we've had a few bad ones, but we can't get insurance on it either, so it's a bit of a kick in the teeth really, isn't it?
Because it's too risky.
Because last time it happened, they were just having to fork out so much. Yeah.
But the good news about soft fruit, I would say, is that for 6 months of the year now, we're self-sufficient. The UK is self-sufficient in soft fruit and strawberries. Yeah. And we want that to continue. We need to eat more, don't we? So.
I wish we could give you some, but it's...
Oh no, don't worry, what's up in the air, don't worry.
You know what I do? We have got plants.
Oh, that's very kind.
Yeah, so I don't know if we've got someone who could chat.
I'll always find someone to put
And
some.
a little jar of... Yes.
Sorry. No, just very quickly show you this. Just a little bit of technology.
These your robots?
Yeah, no, look. This is Fred the Frenchman.
Fred, you are driving them, Fred, are you?
Fred is with him.
They're rather ominously driving themselves.
Yeah, so these robots are basically mobiles. They're UV light to nature. And they drive up and down the tunnel. They don't do it at night. It works better at night. And in summer, so we get a spray some mildew on it.
And what was the chemicals that you used?
Well, we used all sorts, but cysteine was one back in the day. We used all kinds of different well, no, actually they know what it costs us to test on. But it's the big one. Yeah, we're doing a lot of stuff. We're trying to do
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's lots to do.
Yeah.
Good. Well, thank you for showing me around your nearly ready for planting strawberries.
Yeah. And let me know how you get on with
And also particularly growing fruit and vegetables. They love that. And then you kind of, there's a purpose. Growing flowers is different. When you're growing produce, it's kind of, yeah, they're like that. They love that. What they do, they cover it in lime.
I remember shaking the cream with butter.
Oh yeah, we did that. Yeah.
It's almost like a miracle.
Yeah,
it is.
Okay, very nice to meet you.
Jane, thank you very much. Really good to see you. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Lovely.
Will you say thank you to all the farmers as
I
well?
will indeed. Thank you very much.